Welcome everyone to the next class today. It's the games you should know by heart, famous games basically. And this game I knew this game because played by Hikaru Nakamura long time ago, I mean about 10 years ago actually in Spain, a Casino de Barcelona tournament. They still have this tournament. It's every year round robin tournament they have. They actually play in casino. So it will be kind of distracting, to be like, to be able to play chess and then go gamble or something, So anyway, this is a game between Michal Krasenkow, at that time 2670 player, and Hikaru was 2650 almost. And interesting, Krasenkow is a much older player, and he had a really great year, like last year and this year. And his rating is like up there now, like again, like he made like, he's again like over 2650, I think. So it's nice to see some of the veterans to make another push, and get up there. So it's very nice. So he's playing with the white pieces, and Hikaru is black here. So knight f3, knight f6, c4, e6, g3. So it looks like Krasenkow wants to go for the, this bishop g2, Catalan type of position, and we have b3, double fianchetto. So I had this position recently, and I choose the move b6 here. b6, bishop b7. You equalize, but it's not so simple, this position. So white still has some pressure. So a5 immediately. Immediately, he's trying to be aggressive here and try to play some a4 ideas. Okay, knight c3. What else? Yeah, what to do here? You don't want to allow the move a4, because that will weaken the position. So that's why he played knight c3 to prevent that. Okay, if you play the move d4, then they go knight b5, and it gets messy, So c5, then they play e3. They break. Knight is very strong here, so you might regret allowing that. So you go c6, Hikaru, and then d4. Now white has nice development, control of the center, and basically he's saying, okay, what you gonna do now? The pawn on a5 is stopped, and you're still behind in development. Knight bd7, queen c2. Now, after queen c2, another major plan here is to play e4, to try to break the center, okay? This is another idea, to play e4. He played b6, and Krasenkow goes for it. Yeah, he's a pretty ambitious player. So, so he went for it. And I'm sure at that time he was even higher rated, playing with the white pieces. So he was thinking about, I'm going to go for a win. Bishop a6, pinning. Knight d2 here played, because what to do? I mean, you can play the move e5, but this doesn't do too much, because knight goes back on e8, and then will reroute to c7 at some point. There is also c5 break into account. So like you would go rook d1, maybe even black can take a pawn. I don't see any big problems, at least immediately. So he didn't want that to happen. So he played the move knight d2, just trying to keep the balance. That way he also opens up his bishop. The bishop is now putting lots of pressure. So c5, breaking the center. Another move that I would have considered is rook c8. It seems natural to bring the rook into the game. It will be very useful here, putting some pressure here on the c file. But Hikaru played c5, also another aggressive, it's aggressive move, so he takes. C takes d4, attacking the knight. Knight b5, activating the knight and also putting pressure on d4. So let's say if you're wondering why not capture, right? Take. Actually, wait, you're right. Take first. This is the problem. And now a8, hanging, bishop hanging, everything hanging. And something like this will be really bad for black, because his light squares are very weak. Knight goes on c4. Yeah, so this is very bad. So c takes d5 plate. Now knight takes d4, and rook c8. So this is what he was aiming for. And it looks like black is well developed. He's ready to take. I mean, white has to show something concrete here, otherwise he doesn't have much. Rook e1 was played by Krasenkow. Another move that seemed natural and appealing was to play bishop b2. But I guess there's nothing really, no advantage here whatsoever, because you have to take back with a pawn. If you take with a knight, I think you run into b5. So rook e8. b5. Trying to take advantage of the pin here and open up the position with b5. Okay? Very ambitious play. Very ambitious play by Nakamura. Bishop b2. Now he goes rook e8. The point of rook e8 is knight f5 is coming, so he wants to be able to tuck in the bishop on f8. This is usually when the knight comes to f5, it's very dangerous. We know the knight on f5 is a danger. So you don't want a knight to be there. But the best way to defend is to go bishop f8 to keep everything under control. Okay, so that's known to be the fact. So if knight f5, you go bishop f8. Now, Krasenkow decides to retreat, because if he plays knight f5, just bishop f8. So that's why he goes queen d1. Hikaru takes. He is a pawn up, threatening to play c3. B takes. And now he played the move queen b6, immediately attacking the bishop. I guess if he had captured, then knight c6, attacking the queen, and this gets complicated. So queen b6, now the bishop is under attack. Rook b1, and he takes. The idea is now, again, at some point he wants to play c3, and he's up a pawn. He has a pretty comfortable position, but again, it's sharp, because there's some discovery ideas there. The rook is on b1, so there's some tricks. Knight c6, activating the knight. And now he's getting ready to take on f6. Like if you move the bishop, he just goes bishop takes f6. So he goes rook c6. Krasenkow is happy. He takes on f6. Now the queen is under attack. And if you move the queen, he takes on e7. Okay?
You grab the rook, grab the bishop.
Now, what to do here in this position?
Queen takes b1.
No, let's think. Let's think. This is the very important moment here. The queen takes b1, he will just take back. So this is the moment where you want to really spend some time and try to find the right idea here. Aha. Okay, very good, very nice. So at least we are in the right direction here. That's the idea. Queen f2. Sacrificing the queen. He has to take, otherwise you just take on f6, you're up material. And now, bishop c5. Very important. If you try to take with f6 here, then he's just going to go king to g1 and, yeah. So bishop c5. Now, if you go to f1, guess what? This bishop comes in from this side of the board. So it's like threats all over the place here. Not to mention he can take on f6 with a check. So he goes king f3. Now checking the king. But now if he takes, by the way, what are you going to do here? Because if you take, there is a rook b1 threat. Bishop
it's
c8
not a
check.
It's not a real background threat, though, because the bishop can...
Yeah, but you don't want to start defending, so you continue checking him. And now, if he comes up here, rook takes check. And if he goes here,
Rook h6.
rook h6. He might just even...
Bishop is 7 checkmate. Pawn g5.
Bishop e7, sorry, where?
Rook h6. f6.
If6. There are a lot of threats here, but maybe it's we're just better just to take. What do you think of just take? And let's say he goes g4, you have a check here. And rook h6 mate. So bishop c5. Knight e5. So he really had to calculate this bishop c8 line as well. But his opponent played king g5. Now, yeah, you have some pieces, but you need to bring more pieces, right?
How about bishop c8?
Well, check first, right? Check first. If he goes to f5, then you go bishop c8. So he goes here now.
But I still like bishop c8.
f6. What do you think of that move? That's a very strong move. Because that move is setting up a mating threat. Do you see the threat? Rook h6 is a threat. Now you're threatening to simply mate. So he goes rook takes to eliminate that threat. What do you do?
Rook takes.
Check.
Bishop e7.
Now your move. Bishop c8. Now your move comes in, yes? And now you're threatening mate on h6. How can he stop that?
Queen h5.
Well, queen h5,
Lose it.
I think it just stops it for very short time, and that's a mate. And he resigned. This is the last move, bishop c8. What a way to end the game, yeah? What a way. You know, like takes, rook takes d5. I mean, the threat is rook h6. By the way, if he plays g4 now, do you remember the mating idea? If he ever plays g4 here, what's the mating idea? Bishop f2 check. Perfect. He goes here.
Rook
h6 mate. Very nice. Okay. So that's the game. Bishop c8. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an over review of this game. And plus some people join us a little later so they can see everything as well. Okay. So let's review this game and see now if you remember this game. It's only 28 moves. That way you will see. So it's a very nice win for Hikaru. And not too many people know about this game. But it's a really nice sequence. All right. Not too often you can sacrifice your queen against a strong player like Krasenkow and win a brilliancy like this. So I'll play the white moves and you need to find the black moves, okay? Okay, go ahead. Knight f6. E6, yeah. G3. Bishop g2. Correct. And the first surprise, first little surprise came right here, right? Where Hikaru didn't just play b6, bishop b7, or c5. A5. Ambitious, yeah? You could see that he was already ambitious, you know, by playing this move because he wants to play a4 and put some pressure. Knight c3. But now, you know, if you play d4 again, knight b5, it's not so good. c6, right? Keep the center under control. d4. By the way, now, if he plays the move bishop b2, what kind of strong move you have here? Yeah, you can try to consider d4 here because he can no longer play knight b5. Okay, so d4, knight cannot go anywhere, has to go here, c5. Okay.
What then would happen on e3 though?
E3.
White, at that point, after black plays c5, if white played e3.
No, it's playable. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not like.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait. I think I'm missing. No, I cannot play b5 here. The a8 is hanging. Okay. I was thinking about b5, but then the rook is hanging. So. No, it's some kind of Benoni type of position. I mean, it's playable position. No, I mean we don't have to play d4, but it's just an idea. So, but Krasenkow stopped that, and now what did Hikaru play here? What? 97, correct. Now, which piece you need to still develop, so you have the complete development still needed. Then,
b6.
nice. E4, he's breaking the center.
Is it too early?
No, white is trying to, I think we need a little bit more development. We need a little bit, E4, it seems logical to do it. I mean, maybe
Rook E1 first.
rook e1 or bishop b2 maybe. Yeah, he could have done that. But I think both players were ambitious in this game, you know. Both of them were trying to go at it and, you know, see who will prevail, you know. So,
A6.
excellent. Now,
Knight E2.
knight d2, opening up the bishop.
Right. And you talked
I was
about
thinking about rook c8
c8,
here.
right.
I think that's the move that maybe I would have considered here. But maybe this was some really strong preparation by Hikaru, and he just went for it, you know. But what did he play? I like rook c8 here, but what's the other move here?
c5.
c5. Completely opening up the center. Very sharp stuff here happening. So he takes. Now the knight is under attack, so he goes knight b5.
Bishop takes b5.
Well, bishop takes b5, we discussed this, right? Because then he takes here and things are starting to loosen. Things are loose here. So that's why we just take e takes d. He takes. Continue.
Rook C8.
Absolutely rook c8, because he's threatening. What is he threatening, everyone?
d5.
Yeah.
Knight c6, right? Knight c6 is threatened. So you prevent that, and plus you bring the rook in to move away from that diagonal. The bishop is under attacking.
And opposite the queen, which
Yeah.
would be nice.
Rook e8.
B5.
Absolutely b5. Now, rook e8 first. So if knight f5, remember, he wants to be able to tuck in the bishop on f8. Knight f5 comes in, he wants to be able to go bishop f8. Queen d1.
Now queen b6. No.
Take first. Because queen b6, he'll take your pawn.
Yeah.
He couldn't take it because the queen was, so now he's ready to take. So, takes,
And
queen
queen b6.
b6. Now the bishop is under attack. Rook b1. And now it seems like, you know, I can tell you from my experience, it's hard to play this position because, you know, white has threats too. This wasn't a one-way game, you know. I mean, it got there, but it looks like black just won. But there were a lot of threats, you know. I'm sure Hikaru had to calculate a lot of this stuff too, because white is not shying away. He's got a lot of active pieces here to do stuff. So takes. My thing is maybe, you know, in some point, okay, this is knight c6. Maybe this was the critical moment here. Maybe you should have just played bishop out here first, hitting the queen, getting a tempo, and then do that. That might have helped him a little bit to get the rook active. Knight c6. Rook takes c6. So if bishop takes c6, you just take with the queen. So that's not good. So he took, and looks like now the queen is under attack. and e7 bishop is hanging, you have a rook hanging, and if not this move, you're in big trouble here. But that's where the winner comes. Queen takes f2, sacrificing the queen. He takes.
Bishop check.
Absolutely. Otherwise, he goes back to g1. See, if you take on f6, he just goes back on g1. So you got to keep that king in the game. Okay, if he goes to f1, don't take because he'll go knight f3. Sorry. If you take, he will go bishop f3. And when you go check, he escapes. And he's happy. Okay? So how are you going to keep him there? C3, check. Got it? And it's just over. I was looking at that. I thought
In this point,
rook e2, I think even c2.
Or take with the rook, yeah.
Then he goes bishop over, I mean,
rook f6 now? No.
rook f6, bishop g2. I think, what about c2? I was thinking maybe c2.
Why doesn't queen take c2 then?
Bishop e2 check. I don't know, I'm thinking check,
Ouch.
check, and
Yeah,
a lot of
I'll
extra
take that.
material. Usually, this kind of positions, you just have too many moves here. Like when you have so many pieces attacking. So he went here, check, and now, still, yeah, it's not so, it's not like you go check, check, and you mate. It's not so trivial here. You still had to, correct. So if he takes, if you take, he has rook b8 check. So you want to go bishop c8 first, okay? Now he goes here. Yeah, we might even have, yeah, but I like this. We might even have something else, but I think this, take, right? We say that this is better. Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty tough. Rook h6 is the mating threat. So bishop f3, I think I saw a mate here. Yeah, who can see the mate in 2 here? Yeah, just 1 2 1 2. Excellent, Claudio, excellent. Or g5. If you want to be really brutal, you can play g5. Yes, and just
Just take.
no, take queen is there. Yeah.
The queen is there.
So that didn't happen. So he played check.
F6.
Now, no, he didn't do this. So he played here.
Yeah.
Rook a6, d6.
Now,
F6.
well, here knight d3, I think, very, very strong. So he going here.
F6 or F5.
Sorry, let's look at king f5, right? So we have bishop c8. This is, well, we still have to find a mate, you know. It's, I mean, yeah. Well, here I'm pretty sure there is a forced mate here, you know. Well, maybe this last check, guys. So he played king h5. Obviously, he calculated that he's losing here. So let's just see how is he losing. King f5.
Bishop c8.
Okay. So let's make sure we know this one. This gets mated by. This is mate. So he has to go. Let's see. Check. c4 is hanging, yeah. So so check.
Yeah. Could be checked.
Oh, we might need to play like a quiet move, maybe.
Like knight c6.
Knight c6, king d5. What do you think of like a rook d6 maybe? Rook d6 and then f5 is a threat. That might be the way to do it, yeah?
And knight d3.
Oh, rook d6 also, rook d4 is a threat. So it's most like rook d6 is very nice, yeah? It's like cuts everything off. Okay,
Knight d3 is not good here. Knight d3 check this score.
king d5.
Yeah, because the pawn.
I mean, we might be able to win some material, but yeah, I think rook d6 is good. It'll get the job done, rook d6 with f5 threat. So he went here, guys. So he went to... Yeah, but this I think king f5 was a much better try. This is just lost now. Maybe he missed this move, you know. It's a nice move, nice little neat move, you know. What is the move here? f6. Threatening rook h6 mate. It's just simply trying to mate him. So he goes here. Check.
Rook
So what's the idea? Take. Checkmate. That's it. All right. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Yeah, that was good win for Hikaru against Krasenkow. Now, I have a position I want to show you, okay? This is a game of Vladimir Kramnik against Grischuk. Two very strong Russian grandmasters, okay, playing. So let me set this up for you and see if you can find this, okay? Okay. So this is a positional, it's a topic on a positional advantage, okay? So like white has a positional advantage because of that bishop on e4, right? So the light squares are weak, so there's a lot of danger here. So you need to find a way here to improve your advantage here. So here I'm asking you to play like Kramnik to win this game against Grischuk. So take your time a little bit, because it's not so easy to see, because you're down a pawn and there are some opposite colors. There's opposite colors on the board as well. So if you take the queens off the board, there's could be some chances. So, and the black king is weaker. So that's important to know, yeah? The black king is weaker.
What about sacrificing the bishop on
G6? Well, he'll just take with the rook.
What about queen d1, both protecting the rook at a1 and threatening rook d7?
That's an interesting idea then. But rook here, let's say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Aha. So, aha.
Yes.
Did you hear that, everybody? Claudio, can you repeat that? What are you trying to do here? H4 by Claudio. Very strong. Yes. Threat is h5, and that looks pretty deadly, right? Because then you take on g6. The problem now for him is he cannot go back. That is a major problem, because if he goes here now, show me the winner.
Rook d8.
Check. Takes. Queen to f7. Okay? So, h4, h5. Okay, Grischuk played this move because he didn't see anything better, so he played h5. And now queen d1. Fantastic move. Protecting the rook. Now this is under attack as well. And now the threat is queen takes h5. Double attack now, and Grischuk resigned. Okay, let's see why he resigned. I mean, you know, sometimes you have these top grandmasters resign because they just see 3 moves later they're losing. But to make it clear for you and for other players watching this, so what's the winning plan?
Rook d7.
Rook d7. Rook belongs on a 7th, we know that. If he comes here, then we just take, and thank you very much. That's thank you very much right there. So he has to play queen f6. And now what's the simplest move here? Now you're threatening check, and you pick up on a8, and you have the pass pawn rolling down the board as well. Again, all this happened because of the dominating bishop on e4. That's a very strong piece. As a comparison to this one is just defending very, very passive. So this is a very, very powerful bishop right there you have on e4. Everybody got it?
Yeah.
Perfect. That's a tough move. Claudio, good job on finding this. Strong move by Claudio. Yeah. h4.
You got 50 points of right now.
Yeah. h4, yeah? You always have to, when you see the position is weakened like this, you play h4 with idea h5. You want to do this in order to win. Okay? No, it's lost actually after this. But h4, it's a very tough move to find. I can tell you, this is not an easy move. It doesn't. You have to realize that you want to go queen d1 here and say, let me flick in this h4, h5, right? So when I go queen d1, h5 is hanging. So that's the reason. Okay, so that's why. Okay, next position. Fairly balanced looking endgame, right? But Kramnik is so good at just winning this kind of balanced looking positions, you know, that are slightly better for him. He's so good at converting this. So this is the game Kramnik versus another very strong Russian Grandmaster Tomashevsky. White to play and find the plan here. It's not to win. I mean, you're not going to win this game in one or two moves here, but you need to find a plan here to be able to get a position. He won this, like it's amazing. He won this position in 8 moves. I mean, it looks kind of equal, right? I mean, everything is balanced, and it doesn't look like anything major happening here.
B4 followed by rook at D8-2, maybe. Just thinking.
Well, b4 creates lots of weaknesses. You'll get
Okay,
potentially forked or something. So, and plus b4, the pawn will become a target too. So he'll start attacking it with a knight on d5. So let's see if you can play like Kramnik here.
C5, D4, rook D6.
Uh-huh. Knight c5. That is the correct start. He's activating his knight and attacking on a6. First of all, he just wants to win the pawn. And also, at some point, e4 is going to come into play, for sure. If he goes rook c6, then what do? I think he should have played rook c6, probably. Knight e6 takes, and okay, this is, if these pawns weren't there, it would have been better for black, you know, more chances to hold. With the pawns there, it's not so easy. So white has good winning chances. But Tomashevsky, and you know, like many players, he probably didn't want to do this. So he says, okay, I'm going to go here. Knight to b4. Now, what do you want to do here? Rook d6, absolutely. Now, you know, getting more pressure in. Pieces are coming in now to put some pressure on e6, and also you have a pressure on a6, okay? Now he plays rook c8. Otherwise, you know, rook b6 and attacking this. So that's why he went there. The point is now he wants to go rook c7 and then start giving you a lot of checks. So he wants to just force this move to start giving you the checks. And you have to be careful. If you take, he may trade everything and check, for example. So that line doesn't work either. Take on e6 with which piece? If you take with the rook, then rook c5. take with the knight, then there's a check. King goes to back rank, takes on b2. Unpleasant. Yeah, he doesn't want. You don't want a king on a back rank here where opponent has rooks, you know. So that's why the next move is very important by Kramnik. King d2, but then rook c7, Claudio. Rook c7 and big problems, yeah. And then he starts checking. You might be need to be careful there. Rook b6. I think he wants to escape with something like this. Escape to a draw, you know.
F4. No, not here.
That's what he played. Good job. F4. Clearing the f3 square. Clearing the f3 square for the king. Rook a c7.
Now we can take.
Yeah.
Knight takes e6. Why not knight a6?
Well, that's a good night. Why do we need to?
Jump on it.
Yeah, well, it's a good knight, first of all. But the problem is you get pinned. It's even worse. So you keep the knight and you attack. Rook c2 check. Rook b2. But now Kramnik played a good-looking move here, but there was something even stronger than that. Okay? So what are the f5? Yes, f5 was even better move than what Kramnik did. Kramnik played knight d4 here. But f5 is very good at just fixing it there. And now with the huge threat of rook d7. A bit surprised he didn't play this move because it seems pretty natural to cement the position of the knight on e6. So he actually played another move, knight d4. He is threatening rook d7 check. Rook c7. Rook b6. Knight d3. So, and he ended up getting this position. White has won a pawn and has good winning chances in this endgame. So here you have very good chances because first of all the knights are on the board and you don't want to trade knights here. You may trade the rooks at some point because 4-on-3 with the rooks off the board is very, very good chances because knight endgames are very similar to the pawn endgames, and oftentimes if you can win the pawn endgame, that means you have good chances in a knight endgame. So not always, but that's just a general rule. I remember once I won actually 3-on-2, just 3-and-2 with the knights, and I won quite easily. But okay, my opponent didn't defend properly. So 4-on-3, it's just more pawns on the board. It increases the chances. Same goes for the rooks, you know. But the rook endgame 4-on-3, it's still a draw, you know. But if you keep increasing the pawns, then it's more chances here. So I think this is important. But yeah, I think here f5 might have just given him even better position. And rook d7 is just a very strong move to deal with. Okay. So here we saw Kramnik. Here basically we saw Kramnik just from pretty equal looking position with couple of moves improve the position and then get the big advantage. So it starts off with knight c5, rook d6, and you don't want this because that's just equal. And this move I thought was very important. See, like these positions we are studying, we see really difficult moves. Yes, like in this position. The difficult move is f4. Because you have to realize he's going to keep checking me. I need to have a nice shelter, nice place for my king to go to. And then you discover that, and you go for the move f4 and putting the king on f3. Okay?
Well, maybe here was he afraid of when he played knight d4, was he concerned about rook c to c2, allowing the...
I think that shouldn't be a big problem, right? f5, rook c2.
Rook takes g7.
Check. I take.
Because
My king is actually even safe here. There's no checks. The knight is not placed well enough. Now just rook c5, rook c8 mates. Yeah, rook takes g2. It feels like it should be winning somehow here.
This king cannot
Yeah, the king on the back rank. So yeah, so I'm sure you can look it up, this game. This is 2012 Kramnik against Tomashevsky, played in Moscow. So one of the super tournaments, like a Tal Memorial or something probably. So you can look that up if you want to get the whole game here. So I'm sure Kramnik pushed here another 20 moves here or something. Most likely he won this because it seems like. Okay, now next position. Again, this is positional advantages. So this is white to play. Kramnik white against Leko in a Dortmund super tournament. And Kramnik won this very nicely. Here, what is white's main advantage here?
The pin on the 9.
Excellent thinking. Correct. And black wants to protect his rook with a king e7, and then he's going to be comfortable. So that's what you need to try to do. You see, he wants to go king e7, and then he can start jumping in with a knight and stuff. So that's why you have to do something here.
The other thing also with 2-1 pawns on the queen side.
Yeah,
that makes
majority. You have
bishop
majority.
Is the correct square for the.
That is a positive. That is a positive as well. Yes?
So I suggest bishop takes d5. Bishop takes
Well,
d5.
I'm not sure about that because rook takes.
Rook takes rook.
Yeah, but this is not so easy. I mean, here.
I was seeing a fork between the king.
Yeah, but if I have to take with a bishop, then you have knight e6. But I will not do that. Yeah. Otherwise, I lose. Now, what to do? Now, what to do in this position? Okay, yes?
Knight d3.
Knight d3, excellent play. Perfect. Excellent play. That's what Vladimir Kramnik did. The point of this move is knight e5, just take this. That is the idea.
Second idea, king e7.
And also, what is your second threat?
If king e7, then after knight.
What is the second threat of whites besides knight e5? Knight b4. You see that, huh? Perfect. So if king g7, you go knight b4. If king e7, you go knight e5.
And also fork on c6.
Yes. So you play king e8. Now knight b4 doesn't make sense. He'll take you. So you have to go where?
e5.
You have to. Otherwise, you unpin the pin. Yeah.
There's no real.
Now you want to take this and win a piece. If knight moves, you will take on d8 and then there. So he has to go bishop e6.
Then we can take a pawn.
You take on g6. So you're up a pawn and still have a nice position here. If you play knight e7, then simply take, and here just b4, king comes to d4 with a victory. So that's why it doesn't, knight e7 doesn't quite work. So you played rook d7. And now you always have to remember that in the endgame, king belongs where? In the center. So you start bringing him in. Like he's stuck. He cannot do anything. King f7 runs into knight e5. King d8 runs into knight e8. So he goes here. Rook g7.
Here we can take.
Now you take. Take. You're 2 pawns up. Yeah? You're 2 pawns up now.
At least.
Actually, sorry. Sorry. He takes here.
No matter. Bishop takes.
Bishop takes, correct. Rook takes. And now? Rook up.
And that's all.
Rook a6.
Take on f4.
Rook takes here.
And take back.
Yeah, and then you take. And white wins this pretty easily. Rook b8. Yeah, so if you attack, he'll go here. You don't want to lose the b2 pawn. You have to be careful because if you lose the b3 and you have these 2 pawns, there's a theoretically drawn. It's difficult to do it, but it's drawn. So he will keep the b pawn here. He will get the king in, get the pawns rolling, and so that should be a win here. So once again, we see another position where, it's not that obvious the advantage, it looks like, because, you know, if he goes king e8, it's just a one move. Medvedev one move here, we see. Medvedev one move, but Kramnik gets the job done here, and he has won countless games like this in his career. So he is very good at converting this kind of position. So once again, the idea here is knight d3 with the threats of knight b4 and knight e5. It's always nice when you make a move and creating two threats, you know. So he goes here, knight e5, threatening to win a bishop. Take, king comes in. He's a Suksavank here. He can't move anything. It's amazing. You cannot move the knight, bishop c6. Your bishop cannot move. Your king cannot move. You get forked here, knight f8, here, knight e5. So you have to go here, and you go here. That's a win. So yeah, if you want to improve your positional play, Vladimir Kramnik, that's the guy you want to study. Okay, study his best games. Okay, that's very important. You know, of course there are a lot more examples, but you know, that's it for today. And thanks everybody for coming. See you next time.